Nice to meet you. That's
you.
what I made before.
Hi.
Good to see you. Okay?
Yeah, all good.
12 months on, it was obviously a really emotional game for you.
Yeah. From last time you met, yeah, it was like disappointed moment in my career and my life. Go out to the field, you know, in the final Champions League. It was so bad after the season we had together. So it was very disappointing for me.
Yeah, it was unusual as well because you're very strong. You don't get injured.
Yeah.
I mean,
so when I go down, that's mean injury.
Did you know straight away that it was really serious?
I felt something. I just felt something strange in my body when I felt in my shoulder. So I said, hopefully it's not serious. So the doctor came in, then I go out, then I say, okay, now it's fine, I can move it. But when I was running, I just felt something like
too much.
Yeah,
really.
so I have to stop.
And describe to us how that felt.
It's very bad, to be honest. Like, I don't want. Always when I describe that, I get emotional. But you know, it's something bad. You had a good season, very good season, and you played the final Champions League after what you did with the team and what after the team did, all of us together. So also you after 1 month you played the World Cup after 28 years with your national team. So all of that comes to my mind. You know, the time I go to the ground, it was very bad for me. Just when the doctor came and I go out, and I say, I don't know what's going on, so I have to carry on now to see. Then when I went out, when I went off after that, I was like, okay, the final Champions League, I'm out now. Probably the World Cup was I'm out now, so everything was black.
But 12 months on, you get another go, because at the time, that might be your only ever Champions League final.
Yeah, honestly, but it's in that day, I said, yeah, but we never know how many times you play the final Champions League. But the day after, I say, okay, everything in my hand. I take it like that. It's not in my hand, but I mean here that you have to play it many times. It's not only one time. So in the day after, I was like, okay, now we have to looking forward for the next one. I don't have to just still crying and think about the bus. The bus is past. So now you have to think about now and the future. So it was in my mind that I want to play again. So here we are.
You will play again.
Hopefully, yes.
Did the small boy growing up in Egypt ever really think that he would play in games like this?
No. It was a dream. You know, it was a dream that to play in that competition. You know, when I was in my village and watching that games, like, wow, this is Champions League. But now when I sit with myself alone, then I say, wow, I'm playing the Champions League final. So I played already last year, and I'm going to play now. It's something huge for me.
I read that you used to have to go a long way to train.
Yep.
When you were young.
It was like 4.5 hours or 5.5.
Every day.
Every day.
Wow.
No, just one way.
One way.
Yeah, so 9 hours a day probably.
Really, 9 hours a day.
Yeah, so
5
you go
foot.
4.5 and you come back 4.5.
Yeah.
And I need to change like 4 transport, like cars. So transport. Because you go with like one car for half an hour, another car for 2.5, another one for 1 hour, something like that. Yeah. So you have to the way back the same. So yeah,
that shows a great determination and a will to be a footballer. You must have absolutely really wanted.
I had nothing to do, nothing else to do. Just I'm playing football. I love to play football. It was my life. So
you weren't, you know, obviously you've become a great player. The last few seasons, your goal scoring records, but you were kind of a slow developer in that sense, really, weren't you? Because you obviously started in Egypt, then you got the move to Europe, etc.
Yep.
It's been a gradual process. It wasn't an immediate early success.
I think because the culture is very difficult for us. Like you came from Egypt to Switzerland, like what? It's two cultures completely different. Yeah. The timing, to respect your time, I mean, to be in time, that's something different. The hard work you do, it's like something different. Sometimes in Egypt, I used to sleep like 6 in the morning. Here, if I sleep 6 in the morning, I'm not playing anymore. So
it must have been was it a big change for you when you first came to Europe?
Absolutely, yeah. Very, very big.
What was the hardest thing?
The language. I couldn't speak English, so I was walking the street talking Arabic to everyone, so they have to understand me. So it was difficult, the language. I couldn't speak English. I have to learn English. Then also the hard work they do, they train 2 hours. They give everything 2 hours, the attention, the focus, the concentration, everything that 2 hours. But in Egypt, I wasn't like that. It was like, yeah, you have 2 hours, you could be a little bit slow, you could be a little bit tired. That doesn't work here. So I need to change my mentality and I need to develop myself.
Different work ethic completely in many ways. How long do you think it took you to change? Do you think it was after you went to Chelsea, after you were on loan to Italy?
I think...
Gradually, maybe?
No, I think it's changing my mentality from my first day in Switzerland, because I know how much I want to succeed. So the how can I say it? Like, what really I love about myself is I want to really succeed, and I can do anything just to be better person and better player. So in my mind, I need to change, or otherwise I have to come back to Egypt. So that's not an optional for me. So I need to change myself. So from my first day in Basel, I said, okay, I need to change myself now. It was hard, of course, especially with the language, but I have no other option. Yeah. So it takes also all my willpower to change my mentality in Switzerland. So I was really, really able to change myself, my mentality, my mind, everything. So that's what I did in Basel. So it immediately takes time, but I mean, in that time I was able to change in Basel.
And you did very well there. You were Footballer of the Year.
Yeah.
And then of course you were signed by Chelsea, and that was ended up being a bit difficult.
Yeah, you know.
Why do you think? Were you not ready, do you think, or is it just a big change again?
Honestly, it's of course it's a kid come from Egypt to Chelsea, after 1 year and a half, like it's difficult. In Chelsea, you go to the dressing room, you see big names, big players, you love them when you were kids. That was just in the beginning, but after that I played first 6 months. Then I was not able to play the second 6 months. So, but that's what I felt about myself. I was working hard every day, developing myself every day. So I didn't play much. I don't know what's the reason. So
were you frustrated? Footballers are frustrated when they don't play.
Yeah. I think I was like mentally, after I was not playing, it was very difficult for me mentally. I said to myself, I need to leave because as a star in Egypt, everyone is looking at you like, yeah, he need to play. So I saw every day in the media. I was also young, 21, 22. So the media was like putting more pressure on me. Then I couldn't handle that, and it was really difficult because as a star in Egypt and like 100 million is looking at you and writing everything about you, and probably most of the time they write something fake, because I don't know why they wrote stories from their mind. So it was like hurting me inside. So I said, no, I'm here.
Was that a really difficult time for you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The most difficult time for me, but I said to myself also, this is the most important time for me to learn. I had learned already in my career, because it's helping me to develop as a person, as a man, in my head. So it was really difficult. Really, it's the most difficult time in my career.
How good was Italy for you?
It's like they give me the chance to play football back. Like the guy, he came from Egypt, that was the best player in Switzerland. He's back. I played.
The smile was back on the field?
Yes, the smile was back in the field. I think in Chelsea I couldn't smile because it was too much pressure. So,
do you feel pressure?
Now, or you mean?
Then and now, or has it changed? Because I mean, football, there's pressure.
Yeah, there is pressure, but now it's like, okay, I tell myself, come on, you play football for 10 years, 8 years, 9 years in professional in that level, so
you know what you're doing.
Yeah, now it's easier, but before it was too much pressure.
But Italy, Fiorentina, and Roma, of course, and you really established yourself.
Yeah, Roma's too much pressure on Roma also.
Well,
the club
crazy
is crazy. Really, the club is crazy about the pressure, but I think first year was like you see the pressure, you see everything. But second year I said okay, I had it already last year, so it's fine.
It was kind of around the second year when you started to become more of a goal scorer in many ways. Your goal scoring ratio started to improve. Obviously, it's gone on another level since you've been at Liverpool. What do you think changed that? Did you come in a little bit more? Did you play a little bit more towards the goal rather than on the wing?
Many people were saying that about he couldn't finish well. He didn't do that. He didn't do that. And honestly, in Rome, I built a field for myself alone.
Where?
In Rome.
In your garden or in your house?
I rent a house alone. I build a field, goal, and balls and coins and everything. I was talking every day.
You practice your finishing?
Practice every day.
Ah, there you go.
Every day.
Practice makes perfect.
And that was.
Did you have a goalkeeper? Who was the goalkeeper?
No goalkeeper. I was like
better.
buying.
That's the best way. It's a lot easier without a goalkeeper.
No, but when you have the goal and you have the four, I don't know, something to cover the goal, but there's four sides open, in the goal.
Little holes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm right.
I need to shoot it in the corner here or corner there, corner there, or corner there.
Yeah.
So I was practicing that every day. And here, to be honest, also a lot. The manager helped me a lot to practice because I asked him, boss, I need to practice a lot in that. And from my first day here, we're doing that a lot. And in Rome also, Mr. Spalletti, honestly, he doesn't know how much I love him, but he's always there for me. Say, Mo, if you want something, come. Then I will go to him every day. Also, after training, I go practice with him. Then I go home, practice evening. So it was like that.
Liverpool, was it a difficult decision? Was it easy to come?
It's not difficult, but because just to come back to England, it was in my mind very clear. But which club? Since I left in Rome, I don't know which club. But when I had Liverpool, I said, okay, I have to come back to England. And
were you slightly worried though, because it didn't happen for you at Chelsea, that English football might not fit you? Or
it's like many doubts. Like the people were talking a lot now. It's not good enough for English football. It shouldn't come back. In Italy, it's like a bit slow, the football. But in my mind, I was like, it's my league. I will come back. I will come back, and for sure I will succeed here.
Yeah, it's been great. You've had a wonderful 2 years. You must be really enjoying it.
Yeah, a lot, to be honest. Yeah. I do enjoy it a lot. Breaking records, 2 golden boots, player of the year, like every.
Oh, you just listed a few things there. Have you surprised yourself? Because you obviously had confidence in your own ability, but.
It's a bit, to be honest. Like I didn't came back. I said, look, I'm going to Liverpool to win everything. No, it wasn't like that. But it's like in my mind, like I want to win something with Liverpool. But of course, I want to show that people that they are wrong. There is many doubts with no reason. They just talk. So
there's a lot of talking in football.
Yeah. So let's play and enjoy. And
do you like proving people wrong? Does it give you pleasure?
Yes. No, give me motivation.
It gives you motivation.
Motivation, to prove them wrong. And I think I'm doing that for a good 2 years now.
You certainly have. How good has Jurgen Klopp been for your development?
Honestly, he helped me a lot, in field and off also. So I can say now he's a good friend of mine, and we've been talking a lot since in that 2 years, and helped me to develop myself. Yeah.
How has he done that off the field?
When you feel like the manager, the gaffer is close to you as a good friend, that's help you like to be like mentally good, and also just everything is down, and there is could be good conversation between you both. So that's helped a lot. Each player, basically, it's not only me.
And the style of his football and the way he sets up his team, it clearly suits you.
It was like in the beginning, it wasn't easy for me.
Why?
Because you need to press, to do everything.
Have you not really played in that kind of high intensity pressing game before?
Yeah. I didn't play that in that game before.
It's harder work, isn't it? We don't really like.
Should come to see the preseason with us. It's very hard.
Yeah, but you bought into it, obviously.
Yeah.
In the end.
Yeah. Now I think it's fine. We know the system. We know how we play and everything. So Now it's fine, but in the beginning it was like a little bit difficult.
Yeah. Tell me about this, the front three. I mean, competitive amongst each other. I mean, we saw you and Sadio
I'm
Mane
competitive
going
against anyone.
You want to be the top scorer, and he does. You know, in sense of the goals, which obviously the two of you were going for the golden boot at the end of the season.
To be honest, I was like very happy when we both get the golden boot.
Yeah, you didn't want him to get one more though at the end.
I was very happy for us both. Yeah. You know, he had a good season. He deserved a golden boot. So I had a good season. Also, I deserve it. So if I score like one another goal, and he would be like a bit disappointed. I didn't say it would be like very disappointed, but it will, because he had a good season. He scores a lot of goals. Yeah. So the same if he scored like maybe one goal more, I would say like I should score more, the same. So, but I'm competitive with anyone. It's not in a bad way, but in a healthy way. So
the one thing that's missing, of course, with Liverpool is a trophy.
Yeah.
Big chance coming up.
I think we were very close this season to win the Premier League.
Yeah. How was that the incredible title race with Manchester City to get 97 points, lose only one game, and not win the league? I mean, that's tough to take.
Yeah, it's very tough. But you know, I think, my opinion, that's our first season we tried to win the title. Yeah. Right. So the season before we wasn't really ready to fight for the title. We were fighting for the Champions League. So I think a year before us, the team were fighting for the Europa League. So this is the first year really we fight with all our heart to win the Premier League, and it was okay.
You didn't lose it. They won it.
Yeah.
There is a slight difference though, isn't there? Mentally there's a slight difference. It's not like you faded away or anything like that.
But it's for myself, I just take it, okay, it's first time and you failed from the first time, okay, fight for the second time then. So I think we're gonna do it. We're gonna fight again for that next season. And now we're fighting for, you know, when you fight for both competitions, the biggest competition in the world, like Champions League and Premier League, that's something huge. So
do you think the fact that you played in last year's final gives you an advantage going into this year's final?
I think so. I think now we have a bit experience. You know, you play the final, you play semi-final twice. You play you saw that like the confidence that the team has it now is different than last year, and especially now you can win like some games you just need to win 1-0 and 1-0. So the experience they have now, we have now, I think it could make it different in the final. But as I said, the final it's only one game, so you never know. The team has to be in his top level mentally and physically also.
Yeah. Tottenham, surprise opposition in many ways.
Yeah, but they deserve it, to be honest. They play a very good game, and they won against top teams also in the semi-final and quarter-final, so they deserve that.
But would you prefer Harry Kane to play or not to play?
Can I ask you why you asking me that question?
Yeah, because if I was a Liverpool player, I would be thinking, actually, I prefer if Harry Kane doesn't play.
No,
but at the same time, it's nice to say you beat the best Tottenham team.
I prefer if he plays.
Yeah.
And all of us would be ready to play. So I prefer always it's a good competition when you play against the top of the game. Yeah. So Harry Kane is a good player, and he proved that many years, and he's a top scorer for the team and for English football basically. Before I came, I'm sorry.
Are you confident?
Yeah.
Yeah. Always confident. Yeah. Do you get nervous before games? How are you?
To be honest, I just try to prepare that mentally in that level. So I go to the game. Okay, now I prepared that many times, so I don't need to be nervous.
What do you do now? It's a few days before the game. There's been a lot of days since your last game.
Yeah.
What are your interests? How do you switch off from football, or do you never switch off?
I do switch off. You know, stays more with myself. You know, reading, playing, PlayStation, doing something at home, and don't really follow the social media a lot. So I try to switch off. So training, practice, and gym, everything. Yeah,
so. You do a lot of things still back home, don't you? In Egypt, a lot of good things that perhaps people don't necessarily know about you. But you know, hospitals, ambulances, all sorts of
Yeah, I'm
you
doing
know,
now school in my
yeah,
village. So
yeah. How happy does that make you feel to be able to do something like that?
Honestly, I just
Yeah.
feel like that's something I have to do it. You know, it's like something to call give it back. So that's my village. You know, my people. I try always to help them to be better, and always when I have a chance to do that, yeah, I think it's part of me inside. Like you have to give him back.
How's it going to go on Saturday night?
In my mind, or
In your mind?
in my
How are you
mind, it's
picturing it?
in my mind, there's only one picture,
Yeah.
so it's in my mind. Yeah, I see that picture maybe every day. So
And no injuries this time?
no, I hope not.
no.
I had already
No.
injured. I think
Yeah, you've had that
I
early.
had that. I think in the May, the month.
And
always
you missed that
always-
game. You missed that game against Barcelona. That was unbelievable. What was it like watching? Was it different? More nerve-wracking watching than
Yeah,
playing?
of course.
It is,
When
isn't it?
I was
Yeah.
more nervous when I was like
Yeah.
watching from the stadium more than the game. When the game it's more calm because you feel like you can do something in the game, but outside you can't do anything. It's just like okay, you have to accept it.
Okay, we'll find out what happens. Mo, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All the best. Thank you.
So yeah.